Okay, here we go. Second day, and just to recap, this is where I left off with the build process, going to where we have this nice ability to slide this platform all the way out to yonder. So here we go. Yes, one of my old work shirts. Keep calm. There's a testathon coming. Long story. Okay, here we go. Alrighty then. So I'm going to set this aside. Yeah, I think I'm supposed to set this aside somewhere. How about back here? Yep, out of the way. Perfecto. All right. So now I get to start with A10. Well, let's see. What's an A10 look like? Ooh, there's an A card. Oh, look at that. There's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, A10. Aha. They're little wooden washer dudes. Okay. And there's a plus sign, so there's spares. So A10 looks like this stuff. Okay, that would be G1 and a G18. Oh, and that's this guy. And there's K2. I don't know if I've mentioned it yet in this video, but the K pieces are quite a lot thicker than most of the other pieces. So they tend to be the foundational pieces in general. Okay, 3 P2s and 2 P4s. P4 and 3x8, and I need 2 of those. Okay. Who knows, I may actually have all the parts for this page. Okay, as I started doing in the first day's video, I'm speeding up these sections where the parts are being put together. And because the chipmunk sound is so annoying, I'm going ahead and recording a little audio over that. So this is the part where the motors and the circuit board are finally added to the assembly, the process. And I guess the biggest trouble I had, the reason why it was taking me so long, was just making absolutely sure I had each of these parts in the correct orientation, and I had everything fitting together well. Served me well, although it was extremely time consuming, because I managed to build the project pretty efficiently. Not this little part you're looking at is that good of an example. Okay. Okay, to review once again, my goal today so far was to assemble the motor onto this board and then assemble this circuit board into that piece, and now put this piece in, and let's see, let's put that in that orientation. There, something like that. Okay. Well, yay, good for me. And now we have, I believe this is the start switch, because the other one is part of a harness. Okay, so this one gets attached to a piece of wood with 2 P1s. How about those two? I need part C2. That would be on this guy right here. Okay, check the orientation of the switch contacts. And they're supposed to be going that way. I guess it was important to show putting the screws in. Okay, it looks pretty flush. And you might see me from time to time kind of picking at the air there. That's pulling the threads off of the parts from the bench. Wow, a bunch of mechanical stuff coming up here in the next step. Okay, so let's get a few more parts out. Okay, got me F39. Now do Z1, Z2, and Z6. Do. I might have cut that a little too short. Okay, Z1, Z2, Z6. Okay, P1 times 2. So this is putting together most of the drivetrain for the gears that are going to run the, oh, I don't know, I'll call it the slide back and forth on the track. So this gear train obviously goes from one of the motors. The one that in the power on self-test was supposed to run for continuously. Yeah, it runs continuously until one of the switches tells it to stop. So I'm adding the motor section to the rest of the tower that was built yesterday. Well, yesterday in the in the video. By the time I'm recording this, it's a month ago. Sweet. Oh, do that first, huh? Whoops. Okay, so I did it the hard way. Alrighty then. So this dude now goes in here. I didn't want to smush that. Okay, what I'm trying to do now is there's little drive splines there that need to line back up with the holes in the other gear, but I also need to do this with the track all the way pulled in. Yeah, I had to fuss with that one. Well, it went in so easily when the screw wasn't in the back there, and now it's not going in that easily. Okay, drop the screw out. There we go. See if we can get this thing to line up. With the screw in place, it was hard to put the part in, right? Okay, it's in. Now, keep that side pressed in place. And now take this screw, drop it in this side. Oops. Oh, good grief. Get these hairs out of here. Okay. Okay, screw this back in place. And the screwdriver wants to take it out. You should get a demagnetizer. There. Okay, now it can't move because the motor is stationary. All right. All right, so that's that part. So to recap, once again, we mounted this motor and the circuit board, this switch, and then built the drivetrain, connected the drivetrain, and we took the switch from the light and here and connected those. And then the last thing we did is we put the drivetrain drive screw in. Okay, moving on. G2 and G3. G2. G3. Gonna need G4 at some point. And G5. And G6. G6. G6 and 7. G6, G7. Looks like G8. Okay, G8, G9, G10, oh, neither camera saw any of that, sorry, and G11. Perfect. Now with the major portion of the motor and electronics board in place, one of the things that starts here is the building of the structure that is going to hide all the motor and electronic stuff as it starts building the launch tower. Wow, that's a lot of busy to help hide that motor. Okay, and now the next section. Down here, we're going to do this bottom row. Let's see what happens. Okay, so G14 has some artwork on it, and this indicates that it's supposed to be facing away. And these two little gizmos go into the back of him. And then this is G13, two down, artwork away, okay? And these go down in this lower opening, okay? And that gets tossed over here. Okay, hiding the circuit board. And then here's G19 and two G15s. I'll build this enclosure. These appear to be completely symmetrical. Artwork out. Okay, so thus finishes page 12. Okay, that was part 3. I guess I'm going to continue on to part 4. There's G16 times 2, G17, this big piece here. That came out nicely. G17, G20. G20, G21, and G22. So M2. Times 2. And a P15. Oh, that's that guy. All right, so that's this. The other motor isn't till later. All right. Okay, so let's build this up. Okay, in this section, it's one of the first instances of using the plastic parts, the translucent plastic parts. And they're being held together by a couple little tiny pieces of wood, and moving on. Okie dokie, so now this switch that has the LEDs on it is oriented this way and gets mounted somewhere. So trying to figure out again the orientation of the parts and the stuff. Okay, I'm going to go with that. So what was I just checking, you might ask? Well, the booklet here shows from this side, shows the switch with the open part down, and it doesn't necessarily show it where exactly it's supposed to go, except if you show this reverse angle, it's supposed to mount on the back of this I think it's 21 piece. So let's see if I got that right. Yeah, this is an example of how hard it was to find a good camera angle. Okay. So once that's all said and done, okay, something like that. Okay. So I've got that assembly. Now we're going on to the next thing. Need C11, please. I got C11 and two C7s. Sure. There's a C7. That's a C7. Okay. And a C5, G24, probably 25, yeah, okay, G24, G25, G26 and 27, G26, and who's G27? Oh, the on off. Okay, so here's this gizmo with a nice big arrow pointing to one side. So this is the beginning of building the power switch. And for some reason, this just really caught my fancy, tickled me, as it were. I thought it was kind of fun. Okay. That's kind of fun. Okay. Oh, and that goes onto here. How about on this side? Yes. Guess I might as well do it right, huh? Oh, that's what that does. Okay, so once I get this pressed in correctly, this will turn and cause that switch to close. Yeah, I love it. Well, that is kind of cool. I like that. Test for smooth switching. Yeah. Did so. Okay. Ooh. Large terminal motor. Yellow and white wire. Okay. G23 and G28. Anybody seen G23 or G28? There's G28 and there's G23. And two P1s or P4. Oh no, let's make sure I get the right part. P4. M38. So after a moment of pondering how things on the drawing go to the real world, I finally stuck some pieces together. Oh, got a call coming in. That was a nothing call, just spam. And after finishing building the switch, the book told me to test it for smoothness. Ow. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the old repaired, the bicep that got repaired has a tendency to spasm when I'm doing crunched up turning motions like this. It's annoying. But the rest of my shoulder works fine, so I'm happy for that. Okay, now I can take the time to put the motor onto the assembly, and then that whole subassembly goes on to the rest of the tower. And this was a little challenging because I had to do all the cables correctly. With an LED string and another switch waiting to go. Okay. And that now finishes page 14. But I'm not quite done with this section yet. I'm going to give myself a quick little break. Okay, I just had to go show Brenda my progress. Okay, so now for the next parts, it looks like I'm going to be adding some more parts to the assembly. I think I just accomplished one of the more complex parts of this. Getting the circuit board mounted under there, routing the cables correctly, getting the switches here, building this little thing. That was just a hoot. Getting the motors mounted up and the gear train. Yeah, mechanical stuff, which I'm not that much of a mechanic by any stretch of the imagination. Ooh, I've got bowling tonight in just under 2 hours. Okay, so where am I at? G, back to G, G29, G31, G32, G33, and G34. That's another big piece. Okay. That's for the top half of the page. And now it's time to assemble this group of parts that I just got out, and starting to build up the tower and put switches and stuff in. That picture up there looks like what I got here. Okay. Next, G35, G36, and an H1. H1. Goes all the way around. Okay. I'm not 100% sure. I think that was part H1, but when it came out with another part that I had to grab a pencil and mark the number on so I wouldn't lose track of it. Hopefully that helped. H21 fell out too soon, so I marked it and set it aside. And another little building phase of putting parts together onto the tower. And boy, have I learned a lot on this project. Okay. H2, 3, H4, H5, and 6. H2, 3, 4, 5, 6. H2, H3. Ow. H4 times 1. It is just 1. If you notice that, 2. Oh boy. Oh no, that's 4 and 5. Okay. And H6. Continuing the process of starting to build the stuff that will hide all the motors and the electronics and building the way up the tower. Okay, H7, H8, 11, and 14. H7. H8. Ah, there it is. H11. And H14. And now assembling some more parts, starting to work my way up the tower. I'll be having a great deal of fun putting this part together. You're kidding. That whole LED string is supposed to go through that little itty bitty hole? Really? Okay, so I guess I get to unwrap this. I wish there had been more information about that in there. But apparently I have to do that first. Okay. I was kind of wondering when I was going to have to take this LED string apart. Now I know. Yeah, I know the audio levels have been challenging in this, and I hope that the voiceover is working out okay. Well, hot diggity. That was a little disquieting, but got it done. Alright, now what? E1. There's E1. 4. So I think the hallmark of this build section is, in a moment we'll find out that if I haven't done it already, I don't think so. This is where I'm getting ready to have to string the lamp string, LED lamp string through a piece. And I'll get used to doing that as I go up the tower. I guess that's not yet. Okay. H16 and H17. And there's a couple more parts getting out of their boards and putting them in. Okay, 18 times 2, H12, P320. Is that this guy? P3? I'm going to guess yes. P20. Motor gasket. Yep. Okay, perfect. Alright, so I did that part and I did that part. Now I'm doing this part. So what I need to do is I need to take the C20 and onto... Okay, I cut myself off there. This is the bottom of page 17. And one of the things that I'm finding here is, after putting it together, I'm finding that things don't seem to be aligned exactly the way the book shows it. So we'll have a little discussion about that in a moment. Okay, I'll tell you what I mean, show you what I mean here, guys. So, if you look at the assembly I'm working on right here, you'll notice that the when it's done being assembled, those red circled holes are in this alignment instead of this alignment according to the drawing. And I have a feeling that might be an issue. So I just did that little detail so that I can go back and check the recording if it turns out to be the case. Okay, that stuff's all put on there. Now this, where the heck does this mount? Into there? Oh, there's, okay, H12 goes down here first. And then H13. Come on, there we go. Kind of an abrupt end to day 2 coming up here, so stand by for day 3's recording. Okay. Okay, so here we are after the end of the second build day, and I just got a notification that the Sony camera was all full, and now it's going to take a while to download all the video. So here we go. And I got bowling tonight, so I'll pick this up tomorrow.